So you have basketball in your genes. Your grandfather played basketball, your dad, and you have a twin sister who you played basketball with growing up. What was it like growing up in that family dynamic?
Well, we have a super competitive family, and having my dad play basketball collegiately, knew that basketball was going to be put in my hands at an early age, but my parents were, super excited about having us try every sport imaginable. So
Lexie Hull's WNBA journey seemed finished, just another name on the list of draft disappointments. But everything shifted in a single intense moment inside the Indiana Fever locker room, face to face with Caitlin Clark. Now, an insider is spilling what really went down behind closed doors. A shocking revelation about the team's culture explains how they went from being the league's punchline to a squad opponent's fear. Until now, this secret had never been seen on camera.
Really quick. We finish up the Final Four, and then a week later the draft happens, and then a few days after that, packing up my dorm room and moving to the Midwest. So it was a big transition, especially moving someplace that
Before she was fighting to keep her spot in the league, Lexie Hull was a star at Stanford, a proven winner, a relentless competitor. She played a key role in guiding her team to a national championship. That pedigree is what convinced the Indiana Fever to select her 6th overall in the draft, confident her basketball IQ and athleticism would shine at the next level. But the WNBA is a whole different challenge. The speed, the physicality, and the relentless pressure quickly overwhelmed her. By the opening of the 2024 season, Hull found herself spending most games on the bench. Her confidence took a hit as she watched her professional dreams start to slip away. "It really messes with your head," she admitted later, going from a central figure to almost invisible in the blink of an eye.
The basketball part of the transition is really tough. Everybody out on the court was one of the best players on their college teams, definitely the best player.
The issue went far beyond a single player. The Indiana Fever were trapped in a losing culture. For years, disappointment had become routine, and a quiet sense of defeat had seeped into the locker room. Talent was there, but the team lacked a true killer instinct. Losing wasn't just a possibility, it was expected. The level of accountability required to build a championship caliber program simply didn't exist. High draft picks alone couldn't break the cycle, creating an environment thick with tension, rampant criticism, and very little hope.
I've seen so much growth, not only on the team side, how we're performing on the court, but also the growth in fans. I mean, on the road, it felt like home games. We're playing in sold-out arenas that we...
Then Caitlin Clark stepped onto the scene. Her arrival wasn't just about drawing crowds or TV attention. It shook the very core of the team. She entered the locker room carrying the weight of the sports world and an unyielding, almost fierce drive to win, sharpened during her time at Iowa. Her level of excellence didn't just clash with the Fever's losing habits. It challenged them outright from day one. Caitlin wasn't merely another player. She was a force ready to transform everything around her.
With Caitlin Clark, and you also struck up a friendship with her. Can you talk about how important it is to have that camaraderie on and off the court?
I think it was important to get to know her off the court, because I do think that, connections, getting to know people really play a part in the success of teams. And it's really awesome to get to know her as well, because she's a great person, but you have all these expectations put on her, and our team has put on her, and fans have put on her. So to see her kind of be so mature in that transition, it's been really awesome, and I'm just really proud to, have...
The secret insiders whisper about started in one of the team's very first practices together. After a string of careless turnovers, Caitlin Clark's infamous intensity erupted. She reportedly halted the drill and didn't offer gentle encouragement. She openly confronted several veteran players, voicing pure frustration. Those present say the tension was nearly unbearable, her competitive fire cutting through the locker room's stale complacency. This was not the cheerful rookie everyone saw in interviews. This was a competitor who refused to accept mediocrity, and her blunt critique left many deeply uncomfortable. Her bold approach put the coaching staff in a tight spot. Here was a generational talent shaking up the established locker room hierarchy. There were private debates about whether they should rein Clark in, asking her to soften her demanding approach for the sake of team harmony. But in a bold gamble, they chose to let it unfold naturally. They decided to let Clark's fire burn, believing it might forge a stronger team, even if it risked a full-blown locker room rebellion. While some players recoiled from Clark's confrontational style, Lexie Hull saw a different opportunity. intensity. She recognized this as her last chance. Rather than shrink back, she made a pivotal choice to match Clark's intensity with her own. Hull began staying late after practice, running extra drills alongside Clark, pushing herself to keep pace with her teammates' relentless energy. She poured herself into the work, believing her moment had finally arrived. Soon the results started to show on the court. Clark's exceptional court vision began syncing perfectly with Hull's renewed effort. Clark delivered passes into seemingly impossible spaces, hitting Hull as she cut toward the basket with uncanny precision. From that initial tension, a powerful two-player connection emerged, and coaches were stunned at how fast their chemistry developed. Hull admitted it herself. Caitlin Clark changed everything. Her energy, vision, and ability to elevate those around her were contagious. She restored Hull's confidence and transformed her play. That spark set off a domino effect. Other stars like Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell took notice. Hull's hard work and determination were paying off, inspiring them to raise their own games. Boston began setting more aggressive screens, knowing Clark could find her perfectly. Mitchell pushed harder in transition, anticipating Clark's passes. One player stepping up motivated everyone else, and the Fever's offense evolved into a fluid, unpredictable machine. Clark's intensity was infectious. Practices escalated from casual shoot-arounds into high-stakes battles where every possession counted. She wasn't just leading with her passes, she was redefining the team's identity, demanding accountability, and instilling a collective drive to despise losing. Her message was clear. They weren't here merely to compete, they were here to dominate. But this meteoric rise brought a new kind of pressure. The media spotlight, once a distant curiosity, became blinding. For Hull, this was a double-edged sword. She had gone from an overlooked player to someone under the microscope, shaped and scrutinized by what insiders call the Caitlin Clark effect. Every missed shot and defensive lapse was dissected online, with criticism flooding her social media. It was a harsh new reality, forcing Lexie Hull to develop a mental toughness she never knew she needed just to survive the daily barrage of opinions. The transformation came at a cost fans never saw. In a candid interview, Hull admitted that keeping pace with Caitlin Clark's relentless standard was the hardest thing she had ever done. It demanded a total overhaul of her life, showing up at the gym hours before anyone else, spending nights poring over film instead of relaxing, and enduring the mental exhaustion of chasing perfection day after day. Greatness, she realized, was a lonely, punishing road, requiring sacrifices far beyond what happens on the court. As the Fever began winning, a new challenge emerged from the league itself. Rival teams grew resentful of the attention and swagger surrounding Clark. Physical play escalated into dangerous territory, with cheap shots and hard fouls aimed to intimidate her and disrupt her game. In response, the Fever, led by Hull, formed a protective wall around their star. They were no longer just teammates, they were a united front forged in battle against the rest of the world. This tension finally boiled over in a clash against a veteran rival. A notoriously aggressive opponent delivered a flagrant foul on Clark, flooring her before anyone could react. Hull immediately confronted the aggressor, igniting a fiery altercation that nearly emptied both benches. Though ejected, Hull had made the message clear: an attack on Clark was an attack on all of them. That moment crystallized the team, and the league began to take notice. The true secret to Clark's leadership was revealed through these trials. It wasn't fiery speeches or motivational quotes. It was a silent, relentless pressure, the piercing stare after a missed assignment, the sharp pass that demanded perfect positioning, the unspoken expectation that you give everything you have. Clark's leadership didn't ask for followers, it forged them out of necessity and sheer will. For Lexie Hull, this journey was more than a career revival, it was a rebirth. She transformed from a player drowning in self-doubt into an indispensable, unbreakable piece of a rising powerhouse. The grit and confidence that had made her a Stanford champion returned, but sharper, tougher, and honed in the relentless fires of the WNBA. She didn't just prove she belonged in the league, she thrived in its most punishing environment. Ultimately, the Indiana Fever's rise wasn't a feel-good fairy tale. It was a brutal trial by fire, sparked by a rookie who refused to settle for anything less than greatness. Lexie Hull's career wasn't just saved, it was reforged in the crucible of Clark's competitive inferno. And the biggest secret, their path to a future championship isn't paved with friendship, but with an unyielding shared commitment to winning at all costs.